What's up, everyone? My name's Bree Sorensen, and for today's Motivation Monday segment, we have the one and only Cal Bears head coach, Mike New. Coach, how are you doing today? How's off season been?
I'm good, Bree. Thanks for having me. It's been good. We just finished fall ball, so we are, just kind of moving into the holidays here soon, getting a little bit of break, but still working. So it's been a really good fall.
Absolutely. Coach, you've been a head coach, a pitching coach, played in the major leagues. You've won the College World Series playing at Miami. You've done it all, and we're so excited to talk to you today. So first question, what's your biggest piece of advice for young athletes who want to play in college?
Yeah, I think there's only so much in your control. Obviously, there's so many young players and they all have aspirations to play in the major leagues and play in college, and they should have those dreams. I mean, those are great goals to have, but knowing there's only so much you can control, I think the biggest advice is just to be a great teammate, be very coachable, be a hard worker, and when you do those things, you give yourself the best chance to be the best player for your own team. And then a lot of those individual things will happen on their own if it's the right path for you. And if not, you're going to be known as a great teammate and really coachable. And it's going to prepare you for whatever that next stage of your life is. And, you definitely want it to be baseball, and all of us have those dreams, but it can go a different direction. And if it does, you're going to be prepared, for that phase, whatever it is. So, I think that's what I tell, any young player is just make those things the forefront. And then it takes some pressure off yourself too. When you're playing for your teammates and you're really just trying to be a coachable, great teammate, it takes the pressure off that individual aspect, and you can just go out and play the game and enjoy it and have fun. And when you do those things, I think a lot of good things happen.
Absolutely. And coach, when recruiting, what are a few characteristics that you look for?
Yeah, we're looking for, athleticism, projection. So we're looking for guys that, are obviously good players now, but we're trying to project what does that player look like, 2-3 years from now, 3-4 years from now, if they're a little bit younger, and, how are they going to fit in and really develop, over that course of time. So, guys that are good athletes, really have a chance to do that. And then we are looking for some of those characteristics that I talked about before. What is their makeup like? How do they deal with adversity? How are they going to bounce back from some failure? This is a game that there's a lot of failure, so is there some toughness where you can kind of bounce back from some adversity or failure and move on to that next pitch quicker, and you can kind of see that in body language. You can see that on how they react to certain things that happen in the game. And then that helps us project, okay, is this someone who's going to be able to deal with it? Because the game gets harder. The higher you move up, the tougher it gets, and the more the competition becomes very high level. So, we want to see, how guys are going to be able to handle those things and hopefully, push through some tough times, because those are coming no matter how good you are. There's going to be some very tough things that you got to work through. And then what's the work ethic like? They really have that really high level work ethic, that burning desire to be the best. And when you have that, you're going to do some things on your own. You're going to really spend some time working on your game and trying to figure out, what your strengths and weaknesses are and how you can improve that. So those are things that we definitely look for.
Like you said, there's a lot of really good players. So what's one specific way that a player can really differentiate themselves from all the other players?
Yeah, I think, the competitive aspect of it, you're looking for guys that really are competing every day, so you can kind of see that in their body language. You can see that when they're playing in a big game, who's really, able to turn the page. And even if they're not having a great day, maybe do one thing that's going to help their team. So, being a great teammate. And then, we're always looking for guys that can hit. I think that's something that is, there's not a lot of great hitters. So the guys that can really hit are going to stand out. And then, really playing great defense. There's always having some versatility in your game. I know sometimes, guys that can play multiple positions, that can do some things defensively that give them a chance to get in the lineup. You know, we're always looking for guys that can do those things. And obviously the pitching is a must. You know, in any good pitchers, we're always looking for good pitchers and good hitters. So, you know, guys that can do that and be really successful at it, they're going to probably have a chance to find a home somewhere.
What's one of your favorite drills to help young athletes improve their game?
You know, I mean, I think it's really simple for us. It's like we want guys that can play great catch. You know, I think if, you know, it doesn't have to be one specific drill, but we're looking to put 9 guys on the field that can play great defense. And great defense, most of it is going to be them being able to throw a ball accurately. You know, you're going to, you know, have different ways that you can improve playing great catch, you know, and it shows up throughout the course of the game. One of our main goals is, you know, trying to win that 90s war, you know, so we're trying to give up the least amount of free 90s that we possibly can. We're trying to beat the other team in that area. And, you know, that's going to come from, you know, walks are considered a free 90, errors are considered a free 90, you know, allowing a base runner to move up because of a throw that's not online or something like that. So that's part of our practice schedule every day is how can we really limit the free 90s that we give to the other team. If a team beats us, we want them to earn that, you know, and they're going to earn that by beating us, by hitting, you know, they're going to battle, they're going to have to battle to beat us. And if we, you know, win that 90 war, if we play great catch throughout the course of a game or a season, you know, we feel like we're in good position. And, you know, anytime you can pitch and play great defense, and you hear it over and over again, but it allows you to be in more games and win more close games. So I think any way that players can be creative on playing great catch, you know, and just not going through that part of practice, you know, just like, hey, I'm just going to, we got to play catch today. I'm just going to, you know, just kind of walk through it or maybe take less time on it. Play a little bit more catch, you know, build your arm strength and your recovery time to where you can do it more and find creative ways to where you can really do that well. And it's going to be your coaches are going to love you if you can do it. Anytime the guys can limit those mistakes, throwing mistakes, which is where most of the errors come from, it's going to really help your team, you know, on the mound, on the infield, in the outfield, catchers, every position. It's super important. So I think, you know, just be creative, you know, use your imagination. Your coaches will do a great job, you know, helping you with that, but then spend some extra time on it too.
Absolutely. And how does a young player get a college coach's attention?
You know, I think, you know, we network a lot, you know, we make a lot of phone calls, you know, so we're always trying to ask the questions that we talked about earlier, you know, hey, who are some of your best players? Who are some of your best athletes? Out of those guys, who has great work ethic and makeup? So just realize, like, even on days when a college coach isn't watching you, you're playing for your own coach. You're playing for, you know, some people that are in the stands. You're playing maybe for some scouts that are at the games. And we're going to call those people and we're going to ask them those questions. And then once we ask those questions and we find a short list of guys, then we're going to go watch them play. But in order for us to watch them play, you know, we're going to call the coaches first and get their input. So, you know, I think if you realize, like, every single day is important, you know, even the days you don't feel like it, which is a lot of days, you know, there's a lot of days where it's like, man, I'm a little tired. I don't feel like, you know, being my best today. I can kind of walk through practice, you know, change your mindset and say, like, hey, you know what, even though I don't feel like it, I'm going to have a great mindset today. I'm going to find a way to get better. I'm going to find a way to get the most out of today. And, you know, when we call that coach and ask him about guys, they're going to know that. They're going to see that on a day in and day out basis. And that's going to, you know, give us the reason to go watch. And then, you know, when we do go watch the game and there's scouts there, just go play your game. You know, you don't have to do anything different. And if you practice the right way every day, it won't be any different for you. You know, I think a lot of the best players really, it's about mindset. When you can change your mindset to do those things, it becomes easier and easier to be that player every day. And now you're consistent. And when you're consistent, you know, in the game of baseball, the more consistent you can be. And I think that's what separates the higher level guys at every level, is guys that are more consistent and they can kind of bring that toughness and that mindset of competition and focus every single day. But I think those are the things that kind of just add up and end up, coming to our, phone calls and things like that. So that'd be the best advice I can give. And we're trying to train that with our own players every day too. Be the same guy every day, even the days you don't feel great. Be the same guy. Find a way to get something out of the day, and once you create that rhythm, that's who you are. Your habits are decide who you are. Bad habits or good habits. So let's create great habits every day, and then that just over time is going to be the type of player you are.
Like you just said, that you guys network. Do you think other people would be surprised with how much college coaches are talking to all these other coaches?
Probably, because I'm not a good enough scout to just go out to a bunch of baseball games and say like, hey, that guy's the best player on the field. The best player on the field could have a bad day. But I'm going to call and I'm going to say like, hey, who do I need to see? Who do I need to pay attention to? And then we're going to go specifically watch those guys. So, that comes with a lot of phone calls, a lot of networking, a lot of emails. So yeah, I think people would be surprised on how much. We're just not, walking out to a game and hoping to find the next great player. We're cheating, and we have to in order to get that list. We're just, nobody's a good enough scout to be able to just do that. And you don't have enough time. You just don't. So yeah, I think a lot of people would be very surprised at how much time we spend communicating with other coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question. What does it take to be a successful student athlete?
Time management. I think, just understanding how to manage your time, doing great in the classroom is very important, especially for us because, we're obviously a high academic school. So we're looking for guys that know how to manage their time, know how to prioritize what's important. And, when you have those things, you got to make the right choices. You're going to have choices throughout every single day, and making some of those decisions like, hey, I got to make sure I take care of my homework. I see a tutor, I do whatever I need to do on that side of it, and then prioritize the time to get some extra work in. And it just compounds over time. When you spend your time and make great choices and create good habits, it's just going to be a part of your routine. And then it almost feels weird when you don't do it right. We want guys that, are doing that to where they just create those habits to do it right. And if they don't do it, it feels different. And it takes time and it takes discipline and it takes attention to detail. But if you build that into your routines every day, even though, and it's got to be adjustable, it's like you're not going to be able to do it every single day. There's going to be, you're going to want to spend time with your friends. You're going to want to spend time with your family. Those are very important things too. You can't put all your eggs in one basket and expect to be mentally great every day. You got to have some downtime too. So create great habits, make sure they're adjustable. There might be a day where you're going to be able to spend 1 hour working on things. There might be a day when you might be able to spend 10 minutes. And if you do those things, it's really going to help you over time. And I think, we live in a world where everybody wants something now. Everything wants to be quick. But baseball is still a game where, there's no magic, to it. It's just hard work over the course of long periods of time that show up. And the guys that do that well and understand that, they will continuously get better. And the ups and downs will still come, but you're going to get better over a long period of time. So, just be disciplined and create great habits, make great choices. And if you do that, really good things will come. You'll start to see some good outcomes. And it's a tough game, but doing those things will definitely help.
Wow. Thank you so much, Coach. Great habits. That's the name of the game. Thank you so much for being on this segment of Motivation Monday, and good luck, Coach, with this upcoming season.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you so much for having me.